Food and weight obsession can be exhausting. Losing weight, gaining weight, dieting, feeling like a failure because you missed a workout, binged, overate, or gained all the weight back. The cycle is endless and it can be maddening. But I'm here to say you can stop the mental madness. You can take back control of your food behaviors, but you have to face your fears, you have to ask for help, and make a change. I am Leslie M. Thornton, permanent weight loss coach from hpwl.co. This is Hypnosis for Permanent Weight Loss, and I know you can make this happen. On this podcast, you will hear how to stop the mental madness, love your body, trust your food decisions so you can create a life of happiness, freedom, and inner peace. Hello, Leslie M. Thornton, Hypnosis for Permanent Weight Loss. Today we have an awesome conversation teed up for you with Jen Miramontes. Am I saying that correct, Jen?
You are saying it perfectly.
Amazing. So happy to have you. I'm going to read your bio so everyone knows who you are. So Jen is the founder of Cancer Champions, a nonprofit organization dedicated to providing cancer survivors with specially designed exercise, nutrition, and mindset programming. After losing both parents, her grandmother, and numerous friends to cancer, Jen decided to put her decades of fitness industry expertise to work, helping cancer patients, and became certified as a cancer exercise specialist. She also completed the Cornell University Certified Nutrition Consultant. One of the many health issues facing cancer patients can be sudden and unwanted weight gain, especially in breast cancer patients. Helping patients with weight issues during treatment is one of Jen's many specialties through exercise, nutrition, and mindfulness. So, Jen, thank you so much for being here. I'm excited for our conversation.
I am as well. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. And just on that last note of your bio around, weight gain being part of cancer, I've had many people come through my Hypnosis for Permanent Weight Loss program who currently have cancer or had cancer in the past. So I love that acknowledge that piece for people because I was just listening to an interview of, Dolly Parton with, an interview she did. It was really beautiful. And she was talking about how, during menopause for herself, she actually went through like a really hard time, a really bad depression. And what she actually pointed to was the fact that it was because her weight was up. And I know when you and I met in San Diego not that long ago, we were talking about how, even though they have clients have a diagnosis like cancer, how the weight gain aspect can be like some of the most upsetting and whatever part of it, even though our brains can judge it and be like, oh my gosh, I should be more focused on the fact that it's cancer, but it's, oh my God, this weight is actually affecting me as well. So I appreciate your adding that in. And, I'm sure that part can come up too. But first of all, just thank you for what you do. I just think it's so amazing.
Yeah, of
Um,
course.
I've been volunteering for the Leukemia Lymphoma Society, which was another reason I approached you.
Yeah.
Um, just did a talk for them this past week, and just the fundraising for that and everything is just beautiful. And it's really my belief, and maybe we can get into this in our conversation today too, a little bit if it comes up, is that when we're actually following our own passions, which I love your story about your mom, of like doing actually your bucket list items and like saying yes to living your very best life, that health follows. You're saying that, you support your clients with that as well. And they end up living a lot longer, than expected because of it. So yeah, with all of that said, yeah, I would just love to hear anything that's there for you based on that.
Yeah, I mean, I think kind of going to, with the weight gain part of it, like just starting with that, it's one of the things that I will say, we Cancer Champions, um, I guess I should maybe start with who we are.
Sure,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, so Cancer Champions we're a nonprofit 501(c)(3) organization that supports cancer patients through nutrition, fitness, and mindset work, like you said. And so there are a few things that are unique about us. One is that we are there for the patient upon diagnosis, during their treatment, and post-treatment. And we support all cancers. So many organizations work with specific cancers, which is fantastic, like LLS. That's so necessary. Zero that works with prostate cancer, Komen and all of the other breast cancer support programs out there are critical. But ours is unique in that we do work with all cancers. That said, there are, some of the things that we hear about and are accurate is, watching our weight is a helpful cancer prevention mechanism. So there is a higher rate of cancer in people that are obese. Um, but then what can happen often, so say for a breast cancer patient, they're diagnosed, their their treatment includes getting thrown into menopause, no matter what age, which we all know tends to cause weight gain. So you've got this trifecta of, oh, you have cancer, and you're going to go through whatever treatment, and you're probably going to put on some weight. And it's so much to
That's so
deal with
much.
all at once.
Yep.
And it's not uncommon. It's something that we work with a lot, just to like take those little baby steps. And to your point, giving yourself grace, that this is, if this is a journey and what we need to focus on is the best quality of life that you can have.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and as you're saying, because, we work with people who, around the mental and emotional aspect around weight loss and, everything that goes on with that. And I know for myself, given my background being a registered nurse and really studying all the science of, how food affects us and weight and all of the rest, when I would hear that cancer, there's an increased risk of cancer in anyone who is overweight or obese, my brain would kind of start panicking and be like, well, then I got to make sure that I am skinny and da 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 da. But it was over the top of the fact that there was all of this fear, this emotional stuff going on in the background. So I'm curious your thoughts around like, because I'm sure when clients are going through that and all of that's coming at them, like they want to do everything that's possible to fix it
Right.
immediately. But like you're saying, it's like it's a journey and that like grace that you need to have with yourself. The way that I work with clients is like first we work on the emotional and mental panic that comes up around weight gain or any of, upsetting things happening with your health first. So
Yeah.
then you can learn how to like listen to your own inner truth and take it one step at a time and trust the journey and that process. So how does that come up, with how you're working with people? Just
Yeah, and I mean,
Mhm.
you honestly just hit everything exactly perfectly because um, we as humans tend to be so hard on ourselves.
Yes.
And the whole, doing kind of thinking about what I'm saying to myself right now, would I say that to this person that I love?
Mm,
Beating ourselves up or creating these fears around like what you just said. Again, I'm very, very cautious about ever even mentioning anything that correlates with being diagnosed with cancer because there's already so much self-blame that comes with it that they don't need anyone else even mentioning anything about that part of it because guess what? The odds are that if not you, somebody that you know very, very well will get cancer. In fact, I
mm,
just was talking with actually I was with one of the oncologists that I work closely with, and we were presenting to a group, and she said, I want you to somebody, I want you to write this number down. And it was 45,192, I think, something to that effect. And then she kind of walked through, the process of why it's so important to try and work on your nutrition and your fitness and your mindset while you're going through cancer. And at the end of the presentation, she said that number that I just gave you is the number of people that will be diagnosed with cancer in the next 24 hours.
mm.
45 plus thousand.
Wow.
So um, it's not anyone's fault. It's what are we going to do with our lives once we're diagnosed? What is the what how can we have the best quality of life no matter what the diagnosis is? Whether it's a stage 4 terminal diagnosis like my mom had, where she was expected to live around 3 more months and ended up living almost 3 more years, whether it's that or it's a stage one and you caught it early and this is great. And, just take good care of yourself. I think no matter what, I guess I'm not quite answering your question, but to just provide grace to yourself and just this is
Mhm.
what I can do. These are the things that I can do now. Because if somebody's in treatment, being asked to go for an hour walk every day could be way too much. So we
Mhm.
need to meet people where they are in their journey at this time. Like this, what's best for you? What do you feel like you can do? If you can move for 10 minutes today, that's fantastic. Congratulate yourself for that because that will make a difference. So I think it's a lot of just I think the best thing that a person can do for themselves is to give themselves grace because we're not perfect humans, and that's okay.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, such an incredible service that you provide that I can hear like how holistic it is, and the approach and just so important to meet people where they're at. Cause yeah, I just see it all the time where because it's, when it comes to kids, like we can talk about, the weight loss part of it and the nutrition part of it, but then there's like the amount of stress from not having grace with yourself or being hard on yourself, like the cortisol and the inflammation and that what that creates in the body, right? um, and just it's just all things could be considered in the diagnosis. I'm curious, we talked about this, we kind of touched on it in the beginning, and I know your mom kind of had that similar story, but being an LLS and then all of the different stories that I've heard of people with cancer, heard over and over again that, like, first of all, the people that are survivors, it's like wake up call, like they're so grateful at the end of the day that they had it because it had them make these amazing, huge changes. Like they realized they were in a bad marriage, they had to get out of it and they did, or just terrible job, or weren't following their life purpose. And it, like, in a big way, had them do this massive overhaul that led, and of course, still they took on the treatment. They did every step that they needed to do. Like it's not one size fits all, but do you see that happening a lot where they're in bad spots and the cancer woke them up?
It's so interesting that you bring that up because it doesn't get brought up often enough. It's remarkable. I find myself in awe constantly of the people that I have the honor of working with that I've been diagnosed with cancer. I've got a young man, he's 22. He was diagnosed with bone cancer, went through the treatment, a whole, very, very, very intense regimen in and out of the hospital basically for an entire year, was able to have the surgery, was cancer free as far as he knew. 6 months later, leukemia.
Mm,
And this, I I want to call him a kid because it seems like it. He feels, but he's
yeah.
20. This young man he's just one of those ones where he'll just say, yeah, it's okay though, because like I'm at least I can have treatment. He's now being treated in Houston. He's from California. He's living in a hospital, going through he's was accepted into a trial, which is huge. But every time I talk to him, I end up hanging up and just going, my gosh, the perspective that him at his very, very young age, I mean, he's
Mm,
missing out on college.
yeah.
He was a basketball player. He won't be able to play basketball again. He won't be able to play soccer again, his two sports. And he's like, but I can swim. I mean, it's
Wow.
constant like he finds gratitude and he's
Mm,
in the middle of it all right now. It's amazing. And then the other thing that I am seeing is several of our coaches. So everybody that becomes a member of Cancer Champions gets a personal coach, and we have 12. And several of our coaches are cancer survivors that have said, I want to find something that good that I can do with this cancer that I had. I want to figure out something that I can do that's going to serve others that are
mm.
going through what I went through.
Mm,
Um, so yeah, it's story after I could go on, if you gave me hours, I could go on with the stories
I'm
and
sure. Oh my goodness, I'm so sure.
and it's
Mm.
such an incredible way to find our own perspective and finding gratitude.
Yeah,
and
to be
just
working
simple.
with that population every day and to be around like what they're, you know what I mean? Like it makes you look at your own life and your own mindset. And it's nothing better. Like since I've been volunteering with LLS, it's been just absolutely awesome just to be around other people who are in your environment every day, you know, working with people for this cause. And just the I just have such like a gratitude for it, you know, just the whole and like disease and death process, as weird as that sounds, but just like the presencing to the like just like the beauty of life, you know, and just like the preciousness of it, you
Yeah.
know, every second and every conversation and every it's just all about the here and now, you know, and like to be brought back to that every second of every day. That's why I'm so grateful for my time working as a nurse, just like seeing that. And I always wish that people had that opportunity to be, you know, to see that because I really believe it could change the way so many people live their life and live every day and what they do. Specifically, have you seen where someone's gotten a divorce or they've changed something drastic in their life after their diagnosis and had, you know, health kind of start coming back in alongside of that?
Yeah, yeah, well, actually, I have seen a few times where people are like, I don't see a reason to stay in this situation, whether it's marriage or work, um, or even toxic friendships. Like there's just this point, this sense of I only have there's a reality of their mortality that you know is stronger than those that have not been diagnosed with cancer. Just this reality of, oh my goodness, like this could go poorly very easily, very quickly. And so I have seen some kind of major life changes made. Often on the other end of treatment, because I
Mm.
think so often when we're in the middle of treatment, that's the focus. Just focus on my body, my health, that's just I'm gonna stay here. And then afterward is that like deep sigh of relief, and I'm gonna make the best of my life.
Mm. Wow, that's inspiring. I love that. And then turning a little bit towards, you know, your journey, you mentioned in your bio about your mom and then yeah, so if you could just like share that journey with your mom and then how it led to your starting this nonprofit.
Yeah, absolutely. So 22 years, 23 years now ago, I was working in fitness and my mom was diagnosed with esophageal cancer. And the esophagus, so impacting the way that she was able to eat. And it was by the time she caught it, it was very advanced. And she went through treatment and kind of rewinding, I had already lost my dad to cancer when I was 15. So it was hearing this diagnosis was a lot. There's four girls, my three sisters, for all of us, the idea of,
So do I. I think we talked about that. Three
yeah,
sisters.
there's something about
Four girls.
those sisters. We love them.
What number
Uh,
are you?
I'm the youngest.
Okay, okay. I'm second, but okay, cool.
Okay. Um, but yeah, we're all of a sudden we're going, oh my God,
And
again.
not again.
Yeah. And so she went through the treatment process. Unfortunately, it didn't work. She was too advanced. And as I mentioned earlier, her oncologist said, you're terminal. You probably don't have a whole lot longer. If I had to, she's saying how much, and he's saying, and they, an oncologist can't, they
Hmm.
don't have a crystal ball, but the guess was a few months. And so we asked if she had any bucket list items. And a reminder, esophageal cancer, this is somebody who's, struggling to keep weight on. It's a real challenge when head and neck cancers are, it's extremely challenging to keep nourished. And so she said, I would like to hike in and out of the Grand Canyon. And every time I say that, there's kind of a gulp, and I'm like, I know, that's exactly my thinking. And she
Yeah, it's
looked at me and she
insane. It's
said,
amazing.
right? So
Yeah, it was amazing. I love
she
it.
looks at me and says, you're in fitness, you can probably make this happen, right? And so we got to work, and through the journey of getting her prepared to hike in and out of the Grand Canyon, my sisters and I started to notice changes in her behavior. She was a lot less stressed,
Mm.
um, a lot happier. The kind of grumpiness that's understandably there was kind of subsiding. She was sleeping better, and she had an appetite for the first time in years. And we're
Wow.
going, well, her quality of life is getting better with this terminal diagnosis. So she did it. She hiked
Ugh,
into the Grand Canyon and back out of it. And
the
so
chills, like literally. It's just
I was,
incredible. And that photo that you did during the when I met you was just absolutely awesome. Oof.
yeah, we forced her to put on this cheesy t-shirt that said, I hiked in and out of the Grand Canyon. And she just was like, oh, but whatever. It's not, because you did.
Yes, exactly. It's a major achievement. Wow. How long
Yeah.
does that take? Did you do it too?
Yes, yeah, that was, oh yes, that was part of it that I had to be there. And she actually also has three sisters.
Oh wow.
And all three of them did it with us. So it was her sisters,
Wow.
um, and me and her husband. And so, yep, we all did it. We spent the night down in the at the on the Colorado River and then hiked
Mhm.
out 2 days later. And
Okay.
just as a little by the way, she on our rest day decided that she wanted to go for a hike again. So we
Really?
along the river. Yeah,
Mm. I
amazing.
did a 10-day river rafting trip on the Colorado River, turns into a different river, so I like know what it's like to be down there. It's like the most fantastic.
Yeah,
Like I literally like I can't talk about a better trip I've ever been on than to be down. And I went to the Grand Canyon on, the regular lookout points years later with a tour guide, and I let him know that I had done that and he knew about it. And I was just like at the ridge or whatever. And he's like, I can tell that this is not amazing to you because you know what it's like to be down there. And I was like, I feel bad saying, but it's absolutely like down there is insane. Did you find it to be like
oh,
it was breathtaking every day?
unbelievable. And I quite honestly was kind of like, the Grand Canyon,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Oh, I had no idea the beauty. I had no idea. I mean, those of you listening, if you have not
Mhm.
ever gone down and seen from the vantage point of looking up and around you, it's unbelievably, stunningly beautiful.
Yep, it really is. And they only allow a certain amount of people to go down there per year, I believe, and you have to like
Yeah.
be on some certified tour to go down there. But yeah, we camped every night on the side of the shores and you didn't need any tent. Like there's no bugs down there and there wasn't any it actually rained, which was really rare, I guess. But oh my God, just the stars down there and like oh my God. Anyway.
Yeah.
But the fact that you guys did that together, that is the most special thing to have that memory with the family like that.
Yeah, it
And
was
she just championed it and wanted to even do more hiking on her rest day. Oh my God. How
remarkable.
challenging was it to get up? And was there a specific path?
Yes, yeah, there was. And
Okay.
we had a guide,
Okay.
and so and he was available, like he had a pack mule.
Yep.
He was available if need be to put packs on. But she was pretty
Mhm.
determined to carry her pack. And that was part of our training was that she would carry my 5-year-old daughter as a around when we'd go on little hikes. She'd carry my daughter as her pack. But yeah, she was able to carry her pack, and but yes, there's a very specific way to go down and a very specific way to go out. And I
Mm.
don't even know that you're allowed to go without a guide. I
Yeah,
think,
I don't think so. I don't think you're allowed to go anywhere down without,
yeah,
whoever is trained to be down there. So.
good. Yeah. And so, but yeah,
Wow, that's incredible. So then from there, obviously
yeah.
she
So
passed.
essentially, when we were back, and as I said, we're kind of ready, for
Mhm.
a decline to happen. And Christmas came and Thanksgiving came and holidays came and birthdays came and she was still with us. And it, like I said, it was almost 3 years it was just under 3 years later that she, it finally did take her. Um, but what I kind of, I guess, going to what you were saying earlier about when we can find the good in something, when we can figure out a way to use this to either do more or do something for our world. I just remember thinking if if I could help her have a better quality of life, well, having a terminal diagnosis, I need to do this for others too. There's got to be a way to help other people with cancer. And again, this is, just under 20 years ago or when I was starting to really recognize that there needs to be more. There wasn't a lot out there, to be honest with you, 20 years ago that talked about the importance of nutrition and fitness with cancer. It was still that the mindset was honestly was rest, let
Mm,
give, give your body rest so it can
wow.
fight the cancer. Where we now know it's the exact opposite. You need to move, you need energy to be able to do, allow your treatment to do the work it needs to do.
Mm,
And the nutrition advice that my mom got was, to drink this kind of chemical beverage, if you could
mhm,
call it that. I mean, I'd look at the ingredient list and just go, oh my goodness, this is, and she was somebody that was very much a kind of a pioneer, and we did not grow up with processed foods, and it was always, healthy, you know, things that were made um, by nature,
mhm,
not by a manufacturer. And so I knew I'm looking at this and going, I know this is not something that she is going to want to consume. And so this was way before the smoothie craze, but we started to figure out, oh, we could put nutritious things in the blender and she can drink that. And so just being able to take this knowledge that
mm,
I learned through her journey and then help others with cancer. And then before I knew it, like I was kind of the go-to fitness person for people with cancer. And then suddenly I'm realizing there's one of me and there's thousands of people that need support. So how do I do that?
mm,
Um, and my, as you said in the bio, my very best friend at the time had a recurrence of her breast cancer. It recurred in her lung and then eventually in her brain. And toward the end of her life, she said, "You got to figure out a way. There's got to be a way for you to do what you do for thousands and more." So that was really the inspiration behind starting this nonprofit organization.
Is your friend kind of giving you that nudge at the
Yeah.
end? Amazing. Oh my God, it's incredible. And just like knowing the value of coaching and like cancer is a journey and not any like unless you understand it, you're not going to understand it. To have someone that's literally a phone call away to say like, I get it, whether it's emotional, mental, physical, whatever you're dealing with, how huge and how necessary. There's a woman that I was in a networking group with, and she, I think it was breast cancer that she had, and she survived, and she got inspired to help. And her big thing, she started a nonprofit that was called Totes for Hope, and bringing in these like really beautiful totes with all this like stuff just to make people feel better in the hospital, and like a nice gown and like these types of things. And um and to have that ongoing relationship and that support and that's just amazing and huge. And I'm so glad that it exists. And I just appreciate your pioneering it. Your mom was a pioneer, and I guess you are as well. And yeah, I'm just so happy to have you on. And thank you so much. So, what's the impact that you've been able to make so far? I know that you're like in hospitals and whatever. Like, tell us what you're doing.
Yeah, so we've had, we've had an impact on hundreds, literally, of cancer patients. But it also, interestingly, the program has had an impact on the providers, on oncologists, because so often they are, they're going through the treatment process. This is what we're going to do, say upon diagnosis. Um, you've got breast cancer. This is what the treatment is. You need to, let's keep you moving. It's important that you move and really need to eat right. And then, so the time frame they have, 10 minutes. Oncologists are of the
Mhm.
busiest, as far as I know, doctors I know out there, because so many people have cancer.
Mhm.
So they've got this, maybe 10 minutes. And then, so the next question, of course, from the patient is, well, how do I do that? Or how do I achieve
Right.
these
I'm
kind of
willing, but I need to be guided in this
yeah,
process.
can you
Yeah.
help me? And so for them now, like one of the oncologists said, the way that I practice medicine changed when I found out about Cancer Champions. Now I have the answer. I can't just say. She said I used to. She said, I had maybe an hour of nutrition, absolutely no fitness as part of my med school, but
Yeah.
now I know it's important. I know it's a critical component to complementary care to a cancer treatment, and that beyond that, I don't know. And so for her, for all oncologists and urologists and the people, general practitioners that are working with people with cancer, now they have a resource. They can say, and we've got a resource for you where
Huge.
they will guide you. Yeah.
Incredible. And
It's
then can anybody internationally work with you, or do you accept insurance? How does that work if anybody knows anybody who could use your services?
Yes. So the answer is yes, that we do. We have people in Nigeria, Australia, France, Canada, all across the United States. Um, the insurance thing is an interesting, tricky one. At this, I haven't been able, I have not had, to be very truthful, the bandwidth to start that process.
Mhm.
And also just not, that's not an area that I excel. I know cancer. I don't know the world of insurance billing well, although I have been told that people should check with their HSA or the FSA, but
Mhm.
usually they
And
can
cover it, but
handle
that
it
way.
because it's a certified, I'm a cancer exercise specialist. Our nutritionists are oncology nutrition specialists. So, um, as far as billing the insurance, sadly, I that's something that should be there, but I don't believe is just yet.
Yeah, well, by putting it out there, hopefully someone can contact you and help you with that process when it's meant to be and at the right time. And yeah, we're in the same boat. People ask me all the time. And yep, it's just FSA and HSA currently. And, just doing the best we can to spread it. So beautiful. Any other ways people can find you?
I mean, the best way, the easiest way is straight through our website, cancerchampions.org. And you can you'll see from there that's becoming a member is quite easy. There's also those of you that are out there that that don't have cancer but might have a friend. There's gifting, which is probably one of the top ways that people become members of Cancer Champions, like a group of friends,
Mm,
family member, or somebody
that's
will,
beautiful. Oh, that's
because
huge.
there's
Oh
only
my
so many
gosh.
casseroles that, people can.
Oh,
One
seriously.
of the
Yeah.
biggest questions that people have when they find out it's someone that they love has cancer is, what can I
How
do?
can I help?
What
Yeah,
can
they
I
don't
do?
know. It's like, this is
It's
what you can do. Get me
a
this
perfect
help.
way to,
Wow.
yeah, to provide support. It's really, um, really one of the best things that you can do for somebody that has cancer.
That's amazing. Jen, thank you so much for coming on.
You are
Appreciate your
so
time.
welcome.
And yeah, if anyone knows anyone who needs such support, we'll make sure all the links and everything they need is in the details of this podcast. So thank you so much. And to
Thank
everyone
you.
listening,
Thank you
thanks
for
for
having
listening.
me.
Absolutely. Great to speak with you. I hope we stay connected.
Absolutely. Have a
Awesome. Have a
wonderful
great
rest of
day.
your day.
Thanks, Jen. You too. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
If you are serious about taking action on your struggle with food, body, and weight, then this is for you. Go ahead and text the word hypnosis to 855 Be Alive. That's 855 232 5483. Immediately after texting that number, you will get access to our free training that will tell you why you can't figure the food, body, and weight thing out, why you can't keep weight off even after you've been successful in the past, and how to actually overcome it, including a mini hypnosis session at the end. Don't miss out. Text the word hypnosis to 855 Be Alive. That's 855 232 5483.